Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Jason Frausto for TennisUnleashed.net, and in this video, we're going to do a match analysis between a 5-0 player and a 5-5 player. Coming up. Before we get started with this video, I want to say thank you to Dylan for providing the match footage. Make sure you check out his channel on YouTube. It's growing really fast. He's doing a great job of uploading a lot of really nice match play videos, so support his channel. Make sure you subscribe over there. And one of the most interesting things about this match stat-wise is the shot length category. So we have 1 to 4 shot points, 5 to 8 shot points, 9 to 12 shot points, and 13 plus shot points. If we just look at the 1 to 4 shot points, Dylan won 50% of those points. If we look at the 5 to 8 shot points, Dylan won 50% of those points. So anything 8 shots or less, Dylan and Matthew were actually dead even, okay? And you're talking about 2 players separated by 3 points of UTR. It's a lot. So you might ask yourself, okay, so then where was the separation? Well, the separation was in 9 to 12 shot points. Matthew won 9 out of 11, 82%. And then it was also 13 plus shot points. Matthew won 7 out of 8 of those, 88%. So Matthew won 16 out of 19 points once we went 9 shots or more. So I know there's a lot of emphasis on the importance of 1 to 4 shot points, and there should be, but there should also be emphasis on 9 to 12 shot points and 13 plus shot points, because in this match, those were really the biggest separators between the 2 players. All right, so now let's look at some of the shorter points to see where Dylan found his success. So how did Dylan find so much success in 1 to 4 shot points and 5 to 8 shot points? It was his return to serve positioning that was his biggest weapon. So let's look at some second serve return positioning from Dylan here. Really love what he's doing here. We've got Dylan on the far side, right? Just behind the baseline at this point. And what Dylan did really well is what we talked about a little bit before, getting himself inside the baseline to attack, okay? So right there, you can see by the time Matthew is making contact with the ball, Dylan is making his move forward. By the time the ball comes off Matthew's racket, Dylan is inside the baseline in zone 3 and he's ready to attack, okay? Now, why is this such a good opportunity to attack your opponent when you're inside the baseline on a second serve? The reason is because when you're inside like this, Matthew now is also inside the baseline, okay? Because a good player is going to hit their serve. They'll be behind the baseline when they hit it. And then after they hit it, they're going to land inside the court. That's your opportunity on a second serve to really attack them. Dylan does a great job of closing the distance between himself and Matthew and attacking here and just blitzing him with that return. Inside out forehand, huge shot. Matthew tries to pick it up and can't because it's such a difficult ball to handle. Let's look at it again. Boom. You know, he's making contact with the ball that's 3 inches off the ground, right? How are you going to handle that? And he's unable to scoop that up. So let's look at another one here. We've got Matthew serving on the near side, ad side again, okay? Dylan getting ready to get inside the baseline here. We've got a second serve. Clearly see that second serve contact, right? Dead giveaway. Dylan gets really aggressive positioning inside the court and moves forward as the serve is coming in. So we see him inside zone 3, inside the baseline, taking time. Pressures him with pace, okay? The depth could be better. It could be a little deeper in zone 3, but he gets him with the pace here. One weakness that Matthew has here is the big windup on the forehand, okay? So he's got what I like to call too much tilt. And too much tilt means the racket is pointed forward too much and it doesn't contribute anything to the actual shot outcome, okay? It just takes a long time for him to get through the stroke. Having some tilt of your racket in the beginning is okay. This is too much. And the reason it's too much is it takes him too long to get through the swing. And then one way you can minimize it is to keep your hitting elbow here. See that hitting elbow? Keep it a little more down. Don't let your hitting elbow, watch his hitting elbow, it just keeps rising. The more your elbow comes up, the more tilted forward your racket's gonna be. So keep that elbow down a little bit more so it doesn't take you as long to get through the stroke. Because of this, Dylan's pace gets on him. Matthew ends up shanking the forehand and missing it long and wide. If I was Dylan, I actually would have gone forehand at Matthew more often because of the big windup in terms of his pace. Okay, so Dylan using his pace against Matthew's big forehand swing to create mishits, short balls, different things like that, problems with timing. But Dylan did an excellent job of getting aggressive second serve return positioning, and he won 50% of all the points that were 1 to 4 shots and 5 to 8 shots. So we just talked about how much I love Dylan's second serve return positioning. That's something a lot of players can do. Take time with your position, okay? But what works in one situation may not work in another. Let's look at some points. All right, so one thing I noticed about Dylan in this match is he has very aggressive return to serve positioning, okay? Right now, he's in zone 4. That's behind the baseline. But what he ends up doing a lot of times, even on first serves, and we'll see it here, Matthew's cracking a first serve. He's hitting a slice here. You can see that. Dylan ends up splitting and taking these balls from zone 3. Now you might say, Jason, what's wrong with that, or what's the issue? If you're taking a first serve return inside the baseline, you don't have as much time to react to the ball against a quality player, okay? You got a big server here who places the serve well. So Dylan ends up taking balls early that he's stretched on or he's in poor position. You can see he's in the alley on this. And what this is probably gonna do is force a weak return. Okay, he does, loops it short because he doesn't have time to react. And then Matthew comes up and gets really aggressive. So you've got the aggressive serve +1 right there. What Dylan should be doing on these first serve returns is not returning inside the baseline so often. He's not giving himself enough time to react, and he's coughing up a lot of weak returns like this, and then Matthew's able to finish. Now we've got a second point here with Matthew serving again. This is the set point. Matthew again, first serve, right? We can see the obvious first serve. It's a flat serve. Look where the contact's taking place. It's not over here where the kick serve is taking place, a little bit more over here, right? So obvious flat serve right up the tee. Dylan's positioning again. Dylan starts a little bit behind the baseline. See him right here. But then he ends up, as Matthew's going to hit, as it comes off the racket, he gets inside the baseline and he takes it really early, okay? He's a little stretched. Dylan has great hands, but he's again inside the baseline on a first serve return, which is pretty tough to do at this level. If he's playing another UTR 9, UTR 10, a 4-5, 5-0 player, he's definitely going to probably get away with this. Against this player, he's not going to be able to really do that as much, okay? So he floats the return really deep. He does an amazing job, actually, Dylan here, of getting this up. Look at that depth, right? And deep. But he's playing a really high quality player. So the problem with this is that he floats it deep, but it's got no pace on it. So against a player at Matthew's level, that gives Matthew enough time to react and potentially do something with the ball. And he does that. Look at Matthew, right? He's like, I've seen this before, you know. I've seen deep returns, can handle these balls on the rise. And he does that really well, rolls it up, right? Trying to get depth from a defensive position. And then he surprises Dylan and catches Dylan on his back foot because Dylan was not expecting that to happen. Against a player Dylan would typically play a 5-0 player, that's not going to happen, okay? He's going to float that return deep. The guy will probably end up hitting a short ball. Dylan will step up and crush the next ball. But against this player, UTR 12, they can handle that much better. He does, and then Dylan ends up hitting short and gives Matthew the opportunity to attack now, right? Dylan's surprised, gets jammed up. Matthew attacks, comes in, and then finishes with the volley. So let's go just back to the beginning for 1 second. Flat serve coming. You can tell by the contact point here, the alignment of where the ball is to the body and the shoulder and the arm, not over here. Hits it up the tee. Dylan's got that zone 3 positioning inside the baseline at contact. He's not giving himself much time to react. He floats it deep, which would be effective against a lot of people, but not as effective against somebody at this level, okay? Point unfolds, Matthew reverses the situation, he's able to counter, and then he's able to finish. All right, so let's look at those numbers a little bit. Dylan returned 94% of his first serve returns inside zone 3 against Matthew, okay? We talked about how difficult that can be. Of those points, Dylan won 33%, so he won 4 out of 16. If we look at what those numbers look like on the Pro Tour, best players in the world, 7% of all first serves are contacted and returned from zone 3. So you got Dylan at 94% of his first serve returns against this player inside the baseline. Top players in the world, we see it about 7% of the time. That wraps it up for part 2 of our 5-0 versus 5-5 match play analysis. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. Go check out Dylan's channel and subscribe to Dill Plays on YouTube to see more awesome singles matches. I'm Jason Frausto. We'll see you next time.